Ever wonder what really set the world ablaze in 1914? The story often starts with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. To truly understand why World War I happened, we need to peel back the layers of history and look at the broader context of early 20th century Europe. The political landscape was a complex web of alliances and rivalries, and the assassination was merely the spark that ignited a much larger powder keg. Let's dive into the true cause of World War I. The early 1900s were a time of great change and tension in Europe. Nations were jockeying for power, and the political landscape was a complex web of alliances and rivalries. The assassination of the Archduke was a catalyst, but the roots of the conflict run much deeper. To understand this, we need to explore the intricate network of alliances that bound the major powers of Europe together. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand is the headline, but behind it lies a tangled web of alliances, nationalism, and imperial ambitions. These alliances were meant to create a balance of power, but they also created a situation where a conflict between two countries could quickly escalate into a full-scale war. The Triple Entente, consisting of France, Russia, and Britain, stood against the Triple Alliance of Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Italy. This delicate balance was easily tipped by the assassination. Europe was a powder keg of competing interests, and the Archduke's death was just the match. The political landscape was incredibly volatile, with countries like Germany, Austria, Hungary, Russia, France, and Britain all vying for dominance. Each nation had its own ambitions and fears, and the assassination provided the spark that ignited the flames of war. The intricate web of alliances meant that a conflict between two nations could quickly draw in others, leading to a full-scale war. The military build-up in Europe was another significant factor. Nations were not only forming alliances, but also building up their military capabilities. This arms race created an environment where countries were ready for war, even if they didn't necessarily want it. The military strategies and technologies of the time were also evolving, making the prospect of war both more likely and more devastating. The development of new weapons and tactics meant that any conflict would be more destructive than previous wars. Germany, Austria-Hungary, Russia, France, and Britain were all itching for dominance. Each of these nations had its own reasons for wanting to assert its power. Germany, for example, was a relatively new nation that wanted to establish itself as a major player on the world stage. Austria-Hungary was dealing with internal issues and saw war as a way to unify its diverse population. Russia was looking to expand its influence in the Balkans, while France and Britain were focused on maintaining their colonial empires. These ambitions created a tense and competitive atmosphere. Secret treaties meant that once one nation was pulled into conflict, others followed like dominoes. These treaties were designed to provide security, but they also created a situation where a conflict between two countries could quickly escalate into a full-scale war. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand set off a chain reaction, with each country honoring its alliances and mobilizing for war. The complex network of treaties and alliances meant that a localized conflict could quickly become a global one. But it wasn't just politics. The economic rivalries between nations also played a significant role. Countries were competing for resources and markets, and this competition created additional tensions. The Industrial Revolution had transformed economies, and nations were looking to expand their influence and control over valuable resources. This economic competition added another layer of tension to an already volatile situation. Economic rivalries, military build-ups, and a surge of nationalism had everyone on edge. Nationalism, in particular, was a powerful force. People were proud of their countries and willing to go to great lengths to defend their honor and interests. This sense of national pride often translated into a willingness to go to war. Nationalist movements within multi-ethnic empires like Austria-Hungary and the Ottoman Empire further complicated the situation, as various groups sought independence or greater autonomy. Countries were ready to prove their might, and leaders underestimated how quickly things could spiral out of control. The leaders of the time believed that a war would be short and decisive, but they were wrong. The conflict quickly escalated, and the world was plunged into a war that would last for 4 long years. The initial optimism and belief in a quick victory was soon replaced by the grim reality of trench warfare and a prolonged, bloody conflict. The war also had a significant impact on the civilian population. Millions of people were affected, and the war brought about significant social and economic changes. The impact of World War I was felt far beyond the battlefield, and its effects are still being felt today. The war led to the collapse of empires, the redrawing of national boundaries, and significant changes in the political landscape of Europe and the world. So while the assassination was the trigger, the true cause was a complex mix of ambition, fear, and a thirst for power. The war was the result of a combination of factors, including political alliances, economic rivalries, military build-ups, and nationalism. Each of these factors played a role in creating the conditions that led to the outbreak of war. Understanding these underlying causes helps us see that the war was not an isolated event, but the culmination of years of tension and competition. And that, folks, is why World War I wasn't just inevitable, it was waiting to explode. The war was the result of a complex interplay of factors, and it serves as a reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and rivalry. Understanding the true causes of World War I can help us learn from the past and work towards a more peaceful future. The lessons of World War I are still relevant today, as we navigate a world that is still marked by competition and conflict. The legacy of World War I is still with us today. The war reshaped the world in many ways, leading to significant political, social, and economic changes. It also set the stage for World War II, as the unresolved issues and tensions from the First War continued to simmer. By studying the causes and consequences of World War I, we can gain a better understanding of the complexities of international relations and the importance of diplomacy and cooperation. The war's aftermath saw the rise of new ideologies and movements that would shape the 20th century. So the next time you think about World War I, remember that it was more than just a single event that set the world on fire. It was the culmination of years of tension, rivalry, and ambition. And while the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand was the spark, the true cause was a complex web of factors that had been building for years. Understanding this can help us appreciate the importance of working towards a more peaceful and stable world. The war's legacy is a powerful reminder of the need for vigilance and cooperation in international affairs. In conclusion, World War I was a tragic and devastating conflict that changed the course of history. By examining the true causes of the war, we can learn valuable lessons about the dangers of unchecked ambition and rivalry. Let us remember the past and strive to build a better future, one where peace and cooperation prevail over conflict and division. The war's impact on the world was profound, and its lessons are still relevant as we face new challenges and opportunities in the 21st century. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. We hope this exploration of the true causes of World War I has provided you with a deeper understanding of this pivotal moment in history. Stay tuned for more insights and stories from the past as we continue to uncover the events that have shaped our world. The study of history is an ongoing process, and there is always more to learn and discover about the past and its impact on the present. Until next time, remember that history is not just a series of events, but a complex tapestry of causes and effects. By studying the past, we can better understand the present and work towards a brighter future. Thank you for watching. The lessons of World War I remind us of the importance of diplomacy, cooperation, and the need to address underlying tensions before they escalate into conflict. Let us learn from the past to build a more peaceful and just world for future generations.